It hurts when you're afraid, and it never really stops. You try to hold it in until you learn not to. You are a Psyduck, born not into peace, but into static. You don't remember the egg, just the moment it breaks. There is no gentle welcome into the world. No slow rising from sleep. Only a sudden cold grit on your beak and a strange pressure pressing into the back of your skull. You claw upward, pushing against damp dirt and half-cracked shell. A beam of light cuts across your face like a blade. You blink. The light hurts. A breath comes next. Too fast, too deep. The air scratches your throat. The forest smells hit all at once. Mud, wet leaves, sharp fungus, something sweet and rotting all at once. You twitch. A drop of water hits your feathers. You flinch, instinctively rolling sideways, landing hard against a knot of roots. You gasp, not because you're scared, but because the noise, your own noise, is so loud in your skull it echoes. Everything is sharp, sensory, wrong. You try to stand. Legs wobble. Claws scrape bark. You stumble forward, beak first, and land with a grunt. For a moment, you lay still. Cold soil against your chest. Every leaf rustle sounds like a shout. Every breeze like a whistle inside your head. Then the pressure comes. It's not pain, not yet. Just a steady hum behind your eyes. A quiet thrum at the base of your neck. You press your tiny hands to your skull. Nothing changes. You lift your head. Look around. Everything is big, wide, distant. The trees arch like sleeping giants. A stream trickles nearby. You see movement, your reflection, a round yellow shape staring back. Is that you? You blink. The shape blinks back. You move toward the water, clumsy, off balance. You stumble down the shallow incline. Your body hits the water, and for a second, it feels like silence. Cold silence. You stay there, suspended, half floating. Your feathers ripple. A strange calm buzzes in your ears. And then your head throbs again. The world refuses to let you rest. You drag yourself out. You're not strong. You're not agile. You're not even sure you're supposed to be here. But the earth beneath your feet is solid. And you are breathing. That is enough. For now. You don't remember falling asleep, but you remember waking. The ground is cold. Wet leaves cling to your feathers. The world hums, not loud, but present, like something waiting. You sit up. Your head is clear, clearer than yesterday. You listen. Pidgeys call overhead. A breeze moves through the branches. Nothing hurts. Not yet. And that's when the question settles in your chest like a stone. Why did it hurt before? You retrace your steps, not with memory, but with instinct. You return to the stream. You watch it trickle around rocks. You dip your feet in, feel the temperature. You try to recreate yesterday, the stumble, the panic, the tumbling forward, beak first. Nothing. No pain. So you try something else. You creep toward a buzzing shrub. Something inside moves, fast. You flinch back. Your chest tightens. Eyes widen. Muscles lock. And there it is. That throb. A soft warning pulse at the base of your skull. It doesn't explode. Not yet. But it's there. Responding to you, like your brain has a heartbeat of its own, and it hates being afraid. You take a deep breath. The pressure recedes, slightly, enough to notice the pattern. Fear feeds it. Stress feeds it. The pressure follows emotion. That night, you lay on your back beside the stream, staring up at the stars. You don't understand much, but you understand this. You are the problem. Or at least something inside you is. You try to fix it. You dunk your head in water. You press your hands hard against your temples. You sit perfectly still, refusing to blink, hoping if you don't do anything, the thing inside you will sleep. It doesn't. You watch other Psyduck from the trees. They waddle, drift, squint at nothing. One startles when a branch snaps, lets out a quiet yelp, and stands motionless for nearly 10 minutes. Just staring. You wonder if they feel it too. One day, you sit in a patch of moss. A small red berry lies nearby. Your head is aching, not sharp, but rising, building. You throw the berry in frustration. It arcs through the air, and just before it falls, it pauses. Only for a moment, barely enough to notice. Then it drops, cleanly, into your hand. You stare. Eat it. The pain fades, just a little. Enough to matter. You don't know what you're doing, but for the first time, you feel like you might be able to do something, even if it's just trying. You leave the others, not because you know where you're going, but because you can't stay. The others don't notice when you stop showing up. Maybe they do, but they don't react. Psyduck don't mourn. They don't chase. They don't ask where you went or why you left. They just keep floating, blinking, wandering in uneven circles near the same tree roots, same mud slope, same half-eaten berry patch. You were like that too, until you weren't. It happened 2 nights ago. You were in the shallows, alone, watching moonlight ripple onto the water. Something startled you, a branch, a croak. You can't remember. You felt it surge, the pressure, the heat, the invisible scream building behind your eyes. Then, white. No sound, no motion, just blinding stillness. When you came back to yourself, you were lying exactly where you'd been, flat on your back, breathing hard. But everything around you was wrong. The reeds? Gone, flattened outward in a perfect ring around you. The trees? Tilted, not broken, but bent as if they'd leaned away from you in fear. Rocks scattered across the bank like dice. The stream itself, pushed back for a meter, water lapping unnaturally against the current. At the center of it all, you, untouched. The air around you was tense, humming with static. You sat up slowly, heart pounding, your feathers prickled. The silence didn't feel peaceful. It felt afraid of you. A Magikarp lay belly up in the shallows, twitching faintly. You hadn't seen what happened, but every instinct in your body whispered the same thing. You did this. You left the next morning. You didn't run, just walked downstream, away from the cluster, away from what you might be. The stream deepened, rocks slick with moss, branches overhead thinned. The sky opened wider. You slipped often, fell more. But each step forward was a quiet act of defiance against fear. The pressure still comes, but only when emotion pulls it up, like a tide. Fear, confusion, anger, even embarrassment. Each time it rises, you fight it down. You hold your breath, close your eyes, wait for the worst to pass, and sometimes you win. But not always. And every time it rises, you remember the circle, the cracks, the silence. Then one evening, just before dusk, you see her. A small clearing, a still pond, a cluster of pebbles beside the water's edge. She's there, another Psyduck, not from your cluster, you'd remember. She's leaner, older, her feathers darker, her posture still. She doesn't notice you at first. Or maybe she does, but she doesn't react. She's sitting cross-legged, breathing slow. A berry hovers inches above her hand, wobbling slightly in mid-air. She lowers it, opens her palm. It lands gently. Then, with a small tilt of her head, she lifts a pebble nearby. Not far, just an inch. Enough to move it aside and reveal a buried nut. She cracks it, eats it. Calm, effortless. She still hasn't looked at you. You step forward. A twig snaps. She doesn't flinch. She just keeps eating. You don't know what she's doing, or how she's doing it without pain. But in that moment, something in you burns with need. You have to know. She doesn't speak. You didn't expect her to. But what you didn't expect is how completely she ignores you. Not in cruelty, in calm. Like your presence changes nothing. She sleeps beneath ferns, dips her beak in the stream, forages slowly, never in a rush. Always still before moving. Her movements are like a rhythm, slow, deliberate. And every now and then, when she winces and presses her hand to her forehead, she lets go of something. Not much. A single pebble shifting to the side. A berry falling perfectly into a palm. A flower stem bending ever so slightly to the left, out of her walking path. Then she breathes out, slow, and the pressure leaves her body. Like a tide retreating. You watch this again and again. How she never lets it build. How she never explodes. You try to copy her. You find a smooth stone and stare at it. Focus. Feel the tingle behind your eyes. The hum rising in your skull. You try to let a little out. Nothing happens. You try again. Still nothing. Then, without warning, it surges. A stone cracks in half. Your vision blurs. You black out for a second, just long enough to miss the splash of water and the two startled Pidgey bolting from a nearby branch. When your head clears, she's standing nearby, watching. Her eyes don't scold, but they don't comfort either. You want to say something, but what? I didn't mean to? I'm trying? Instead, you lower your head. You don't walk beside her after that. But you follow again, from further back. That night, she stops beside a tree and places a berry down in the dirt. Then she walks away. You approach slowly. It's not a gift, you know that. It's a message. You sit near it, stare at the fruit. You feel the headache rising again. You breathe in, focus, raise your hand. And this time, the berry wobbles. Only for a moment, only by a centimeter, but it wobbles. You don't eat it, not yet. You sit still, watching it, waiting. Because for the first time, you think you're beginning to understand. She isn't using her power. She's listening to it. You begin to count the moments, not the headaches, but the beats before they come. The way the light shifts, the way your heartbeat changes tempo, the way your claws curl slightly before the pressure builds. You don't know how to stop them, but you're learning to see them coming. You find a small clearing with a ring of stones and return there each day. Not to train. Not exactly. Just to watch yourself, to feel the warning signs and not run. The girl Psyduck is gone now. You don't know when she left. She was gone in the morning. When you woke, the berry was still there, uneaten. And her scent had vanished. For a while, you're alone again. But it's different now. You start to move like she did, slower, more deliberate, not in imitation, but in respect. Like you're honoring her way of being, not copying it. You don't float anymore. You don't sit around blinking at water. You walk, you forage, you observe. And on the 7th day after she left, it happens. You're balancing on a flat stone by the stream, eyes closed, head aching. The pressure rises. You feel the spike, the heat. But instead of clenching, you breathe. You lean into it. Let it come. And instead of exploding, it ripples. You open your eyes. 3 leaves are suspended in front of you, caught mid-air, unmoving. You blink. They remain. No sound, no pain, just clarity. Your heart pounds, your feathers buzz. Then, gently, you lower your hand. The leaves drift down like feathers in slow motion. You fall to your knees, not because you're hurt, but because you're overwhelmed. You did it, not by force, not by panic, by choice. That night, you return to the berry she left behind. It's shriveled, nearly spoilt. You eat it anyway, not for the flavor, but for the memory. You hear it before you see it, a faint whine in the air, like the hum before a storm. The kind that doesn't touch the skin, only the skull. You follow it through the underbush, and there, in a dip by the stream, half covered in fallen leaves, is a baby Psyduck. Tiny, shaking, eyes wide with pressure. You know the look, the twitching fingers, the clenched jaw. The way his breath hitches, like he's trying not to scream. You freeze. He's having one. A real one. A psychic spike. You step forward slowly. Not to stop it. You know you can't. Just to be near him. To make sure he doesn't wake up alone, the way you did. But before you reach him, it happens. A flash of white. A pulse like lightning through the air. No sound, no fire, just force. Like the world inhaled and then shoved everything away. You feel it hit your chest, then your back. You crash through brambles, slam into a tree. Black. You wake to chaos. The world is tilted, your body arches. Your vision stutters between shapes. Rocks are falling. The quake wasn't over. It was triggered. The hillside above you begins to slide, slow at first, then faster. Trees uproot. Earth churns. And at the bottom of it all, the baby. Still unconscious, still twitching, still exactly where the explosion left him. You try to stand. Your leg buckles. Pain sears up your side. Your hands tremble. You can't breathe right. But you don't stop. You raise one arm. Focus. The pressure inside you screams. Not chaotic, but focused. You latch onto it like a rope in a river. You lift. The baby rises, slowly, awkwardly. His body floats through the air, just above the sliding earth. You shift him toward a ledge, a safe spot, just out of reach of the oncoming rocks. He touches down. You collapse. Dust coats your tongue. Your vision dims. But he's safe. You did it. Then, a sound. Low, grinding. You look up. One last boulder. Massive, cracked down the center, tearing from the ledge above, falling. Right toward him. You reach out. Hand shaking, vision white at the edges, no strength left. You scream inside your skull, not in fear, but in refusal. And in that moment of absolute failure, something awakens. It begins at the core of you, not in muscle, not in bone, but in balance. As if the storm you spent your whole life drowning in suddenly shifts, not vanishing, but centering. You feel it first as stillness, then warmth, then motion. Your body lifts from the earth, not by effort, but instinct. And then you begin to change. Your arms lengthen, muscles threading through lean, graceful limbs. Your stubby legs elongate, feet webbing between 3 long claws. Your cream-colored beak sharpens into a sleek, streamlined point. The vacant look in your eyes sharpens, narrows, becomes focused. Your feathers shift from dull yellow to deep, aquatic blue. From your forehead, where pain once lived, a red gem now glows. Not flickering, not flaring, constant, calm. You are no longer Psyduck. You are Golduck. The boulder halts mid-air, not with drama, with stillness. Then, as gently as a leaf caught on water, it begins to drift sideways. The air hums, soft, resonant. You guide the stone to the forest floor. It lands without a sound. Nothing cracks. Nothing breaks. You lower your arm. The gem fades. The child is safe. He doesn't wake, but his breath steadies. No more twitching, no more pressure. Just sleep. You lift him with a thought. Float him across the ridge, past the broken trees, to a quiet place at the base of a moss-covered trunk. You lower him into the grass, then stand, watch him for a while, and walk away. Not because you're leaving something behind, but because you've become something new. The forest hasn't changed, but everything feels different. Not the trees, not the water. You. There's no pain behind your eyes now, no static hum beneath your skull. No pressure waiting to burst. You walk without caution. You move with intent. For the first time in your life, you're not waiting for something to go wrong. You reach the river, wide, deep, moving with purpose. Not the still, weedy pond where you once drifted. This water has direction. You step onto the edge and pause. Then you see them. A cluster of Psyduck near the opposite bank. One of them, small, blinking, notices you. He tilts his head. Raises a hand slowly to his temple. It's not a gesture of pain. It's curiosity. He sees something in you he doesn't understand, but wants to. You return the gesture. A single webbed hand to your head. Not as a sign of suffering, but of memory, of growth. The child stares, then lowers his hand and watches, not afraid, just still. You turn back to the river. The current ripples softly. You step in. The water welcomes you. It doesn't fight your shape. It recognizes it. You dive, silent, smooth, slicing beneath the surface. The ripples spread, then fade. And the water is calm again, like you were never there. But something in it has changed.